Ever since Doctor Who Season 2 concluded a couple of weeks ago with the shock regeneration of Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor, the one question on fans' lips has been, is Billie Piper really the 16th Doctor? And if she is she the Doctor full-time or just temporarily for a few specials? Now the cover for this month's Doctor Who magazine has been revealed with Billie Piper as cover star, and I think it basically confirms which direction they're going in with this, which, depending on your mileage, you might be thrilled about, you might be less thrilled about. So just to rewind briefly, the 15th Doctor's regeneration at the end of the Reality War was unprecedented in the sense that we didn't know in advance for sure that Ncuti was going, that he was leaving, that he would be regenerating, and likewise we didn't know who the next Doctor was going to be, not officially. There were leaks, saying Billie Piper and murmurings, but there was no advance announcement about the actor's identity, as there has been for every other Doctor so far, every other full-time incumbent Doctor at least, the two exceptions being the two kind of extra bonus Doctors, John Hurt and Joe Martin, who, for obvious reasons, were unveiled on screen for the first time as part of surprise twists. The legitimacy of Billie Piper's apparent new incarnation was thrown into doubt pretty much immediately when the end credits played for the Reality War, and they said introducing Billie Piper, but not introducing Billie Piper as the Doctor. Again, as has been the case for every other incarnation so far, even John Hurt and Joe Martin. And there's been no news or updates on that since. The official social media pages have kind of remained fairly elusive on the matter. There have been no official portraits or photographs of Billie Piper as the Doctor, just that screenshot, from the regeneration from the scene itself. So that's all felt pretty strange, and there has been a lot of continuing speculation about whether or not Billie is the Doctor, but there's been no kind of real evidence to support that either way up until now with this magazine cover for this month's issue of Doctor Who magazine. So Doctor Who magazine, the official magazine for the show of 50 years by this point almost, has always done these covers whenever there's a new Doctor actor announced, where they'll feature the actor on the cover and they'll say, this actor is the Doctor. So the first one they did, the first Doctor casting in the magazine's lifetime, was Peter Davison. Famously or infamously, the magazine actually misspelt his name as Peter Davison with a D, Davidson, which has kind of gone down in history. It wasn't the same as they've done in the years since, where it's become a bit more of a tradition, a bit more of a thing. They've got the big headline there of David Tennant is the Doctor, or Christopher Eccleston is the Doctor, Matt Smith is the Doctor. And also in more recent years, they have actually waited until the departing actor has departed and the new actor has officially taken over for that is the Doctor cover, which again is potentially quite interesting in this case. So for instance, David Tennant, when he returned as the 14th Doctor, only got his David Tennant is the Doctor, or his second David Tennant is the Doctor cover after the Power of the Doctor had gone out. Likewise, Ncuti Gatwa, he appeared on the magazine on the cover when his casting was unveiled in summer 2022, but his proper Ncuti Gatwa is the Doctor cover didn't come until December 2023. Same with Jodie Whittaker, we got the Time for a Lady cover in summer 2017, then the proper Jodie Whittaker is the Doctor cover following the broadcast of Twice Upon a Time in early 2018. This time, those two covers, the kind of the casting cover and the official kind of confirmation of them taking over, those covers have been rolled into one, which I suppose makes sense because, like I say, Billie's casting wasn't announced in advance. But that is far from the most interesting thing about this cover. First of all, the choice of image is interesting. They've continued to use the screenshot, like a photoshopped version of the screenshots from the Reality War, rather than like a proper portrait, a proper photograph, which is very strange, actually, that the magazine, the official magazine, is using a screenshot or like a photoshopped screenshot as its cover, like, to all intents and purposes, a licensed piece of fan art, basically, which is bizarre. And then beneath that we have that usual tagline, but with a twist. So it's not just Billie Piper is the Doctor, it's Billie Piper is the Doctor, ? Which I think basically says it all. Like, they might as well have put, oh yeah, Billie Piper isn't actually the Doctor. Like, because that's basically what it says. Or it says like, oh, maybe she's the Doctor, maybe she isn't. You choose, you make your mind up, wait and see, stay tuned. It feels like they know exactly what they're doing. They know that people are talking about this and speculating about this. They would have known that in advance as well. That would have been kind of part of the plan, part of the thinking behind this decision. But it basically just confirms to me that this is all a gimmick. It's a temporary thing. Billie Piper isn't actually the Doctor, or at least there's kind of more to it than first thought. So as people have suggested, it's perhaps got something to do with one of Billie's previous roles in the Whoniverse as Rose Tyler, or the Bad Wolf entity, or the Moment. Has the Bad Wolf entity kind of taken over the Doctor's body, or the heart of the TARDIS? Rose looked into the heart of the TARDIS. Is that what's going on here? Has the heart of the TARDIS kind of merged with the Doctor for some plot reason? But yeah, I think anybody hoping for a full series with Billie is perhaps going to be disappointed. It kind of feels to me like that would be a more surprising outcome now than it just being a temporary thing, a stopgap kind of thing. Oh, like just tiding us over until whatever's next for the show actually happens and transpires. Something to kind of keep the show alive, to keep the fans talking, for better or for worse, to generate content. All this kind of stuff, to at least have somebody there as the face of the show. I think from that point of view, I can certainly see the thinking behind it, and yeah, it is doing its job, it's working to a certain extent, but I can't help but feel unsure about the whole thing still overall. Like, it does feel very strange, a very strange decision, very strange direction to take the show in. If it is a gimmick, it almost kind of feels more cynical in that way, because it's like they are literally playing us, they are literally just doing this to get us talking. Okay, perhaps ultimately it's in the show's best interests. Okay, perhaps in the circumstances, it was the best they could do, their hands were tied, they had to cast a new Doctor very, very quickly and just have someone for Ncuti to regenerate into, rather than just like not showing who he turns into and cutting to black and kind of ending the show there. But yeah, I don't know, it just still feels very strange, like the whole thing with the cover being the screenshots and the tagline as well, having the question mark at the end. It's like they've basically said without saying that Billie Piper isn't actually the next Doctor, between this and the end credits thing. But publicly, they won't say that. They won't confirm that. They're still kind of trying to play people along. It's weird. I don't know. It feels strange. It feels like there's this thing with Regenerations now where they're playing games with us, they're playing games with people. It's not enough for it just to be like a new actor who is a bit older or a bit younger, different personality, different gender, different heritage. There has to be something else going on. We had David Tennant come back, the Doctor reacquiring an old face, and that was fine at the time because it was a one-off. We then had the whole kind of gimmick of Ncuti being announced, but him not being the next Doctor because Dave was in between him and Jodie. And again, that's fine. That was quite a nice way of doing it and preserving the surprise. But this time it just feels different. It feels random. It feels directionless. It doesn't feel like they even know what they're doing, and perhaps they don't. Perhaps the future of the show is still up in the air and it's still being negotiated. So okay, to an extent, but yeah, I don't know. But what are your thoughts on all of this? The cover of this month's Doctor Who magazine with that photoshopped screenshot image as the actual cover, and then the question mark on the tagline. Do you think, like me, that it confirms that Billie Piper is not in fact the next Doctor, or do you think there's a chance that she still is? Whatever your thoughts, your feelings, make them known down in the comments below. Please also leave a like if you have enjoyed this video, and subscribe to the channel if you're new for more coverage of whatever's going on with Billie Piper and the future of Doctor Who in coming weeks and months. But otherwise, until the next one, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now.